Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Katrina. Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So you wanted to meet today?
Yes, I just needed some help and I wanted to talk to somebody about my relationship. I didn't really have anybody else to talk to, so I thought I would go to somebody who's professional and been there before, so.
Yeah. And you signed the consent form we've already discussed in the hallway before with my secretary. Awesome. Yeah, so tell me what brings you here. Start from the beginning.
So, I have been with my boyfriend for about 3 years, and it was going well, and then we started building a house together, and after we built the house, it's not falling apart, but there's been lots of issues, so I just didn't really know where to go from there, so.
Okay. What kind of issues? What started from the beginning?
So, when we first moved in, it was kind of just little things like laundry and dishes and bickering, that kind of stuff. But more so lately, it's about whether or not we do want to live together or if it's too far from each of our families. So it's kind of just whether or not we can actually make it work or not. So.
Okay. So you're saying that you used to live together before?
Well, not technically, not on paper. I was still at home and I moved half of the time I was there and half the time I was at my parents'. But I guess I would say 85% I was there with him. But when we built the house, it's both in our name. So now it's officially the two of ours.
Okay. How long have you been living in the new house for?
Probably about, I would say 6 months now, almost.
6 months?
Yeah.
And whereabouts do you live?
So it's north of Napanee, so it'd probably be about 20 minutes. So, from work.
20 minutes from work.
Yeah. So, but for my family, it's about 50 minutes. So, it's like almost an hour for me to get home. So,
yeah.
But for his family, it's only about 20 minutes to his family. So that's where the issues are coming into place.
Okay, and how far along did you realize that this was becoming an issue? Before you built or after you built?
I didn't have any doubt, but I always had, I was scared because we're not married, so that was a big issue as well. So before I didn't really think about it too much, and I didn't think how far it was going to be for me from my family and friends. So now that I'm out there, it's kind of just been kicking in the last month. So that's why I thought I would come and talk to somebody about it.
Yeah. So you have demonstrated that you would just be coming upset the last month.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you talked to Jake about how upset you've been lately?
A little bit. I know this week has been very bad, hence why I have came in, because before that it wasn't as bad. He knows a little bit, but to him it's not a big deal because we are planning on moving probably 5 times before we settle. So his point is, when the big picture is we're not going to be that far away, but in my point of view it is, it's our life now, that it is pretty far away, even though the big picture will be closer to our family. So he knows, but he's not on the same page as me at all.
Okay, so Brittany, am I getting this right? You are living in Hay Bay.
Mm-hmm.
That's 20 minutes outside your work.
Yes.
And it's only 15 minutes outside his work?
Well, he has his own business, so he's kind of all over the place. Mostly in Napanee is where he works, but his family, not just including his parents, but his entire family is in Napanee. So he's very close to them as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a 15-minute drive from your family?
Yes, 15 to 20 minutes farther from Napanee, the opposite direction than his family. Yes.
Okay. So you're upset because his family is all around here and your family's so much farther.
Yes. It makes me, it's harder for me because I can't just go to my family or friends and then head home again after that. So, well, I can do that, but it's midnight and I have to work the next morning. So it's just kind of a pain to not be able to stop in after work and then go home kind of thing. So I think it's just a big change from what I was used to. So I just don't know if it's going to work or not.
And the way you've been talking is that it sounds like you are very close to your family.
Yes.
And that's what's hurting you now, making you realize.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it's been bothering you the past week?
More so the past week. I think think both of us are sick, so it doesn't help at all either. But I think, so my parents are building as well, which is farther from where I grew up, so that's even farther from where I live now. And so I'm trying to help them out a lot and trying to be there for them. But I think I've just been realizing this week that it is very far. So that's why this week has kind of been harder.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you've talked to Jake about it recently. How is he responding to you being sad that you've been so far away from your family?
Not responding well at all. I guess he's been on a little on edge because he's working so much and he's sick too, so it doesn't help. But I think he doesn't think it's a big deal at all because his family is around and he knows it's not permanent. It's only for the time being. I think we will put it up for sale in probably a year or two and then try to move. But so that's why he doesn't react very well because he doesn't think it's a big deal. But for me, it's this time is my life now. I don't want to wait until we settle just to be happy, right? So
yeah. So you've moved farther away from your family, and his family's close.
Yes.
But you've also talked that you will eventually move closer, you think, in the next year or two if you sell the house.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I don't think we'll move as close as I would expect, but we hopefully move closer each time because to be mortgage free, we want to probably build 3 to 5 houses and then make money off them. So, and that's his point. His argument as well is, okay, this is our money, you know.
Yeah.
If we just move back to my parents and don't do all those steps in between, we're not going to make the money because neither of us have pensions. So that's a big factor. So I do see his point, but I just think in the time being, I'm not as happy as I could be. But
yeah, so that's great that you've seen his point and that you're understanding him.
Yes.
But you're mostly upset because he's not fully understanding your point as well.
Right.
Which that is a hard thing to concept. What does Jake do for his work?
So he's a carpenter. So he basically does frame houses mostly. He puts windows and doors in them when they're done. But he'll do all the finish work as well if he's asked. But most of the time he frames houses. So he could be Napanee, Kingston, Belleville, just kind of wherever they call him. So right now he's in Bath working. So yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. But
how far is Bath from your house that you're living in?
It's about 10 minutes. It's not too far at all.
Not too far.
No.
So
Yeah,
that's good for him.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he frames houses, would he want to build your next house? If you did sell this one, would he be obligated to build the next house for you guys?
Yes. Oh yes. He built the house that we're in now. He from top to bottom everything, which saves us a lot of money not to hire somebody else. So yes, for sure he will build the next one. Yeah.
And as you were saying, this past week that it hasn't been easy for you and he hasn't been understanding for you. What is his argument against you being upset? Why is he?
The only reason he says that he is upset, or he thinks that I'm upset, is that it's not a valid point. This isn't forever kind of thing. We're going to move soon. I think the only reason he's reacting so bad lately is because he is sick and he does work every day. He works 7 days a week. So I understand why he snaps and freaks out because he's tired too. But yeah.
So yeah, and working long hours and then you guys coming home and talking about it.
Yeah, and we're not used to being in the same house, you know. We came from him living alone and then me being with my family. Now that 2 people are living in the same house, it's a big change for sure.
Yeah.
So
have you guys talked about off track a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have, now that you're both living together, and you're both living still not living with each other.
Yeah.
How have you been adapting to living with each other? Is it getting better or?
Overall, it's pretty good. I'm a type of person who holds a lot in, so I don't say as much as I'm thinking. But it's only little things like I said, laundry and dishes and what do you want for dinner? Who's gonna cook dinner? You know, that kind of stuff. Money-wise and bills and that kind of stuff, it's a piece of cake. Like we're shared everything, half down the middle, so there's no arguments with that. It's kind of just housework inside the house. That's the only thing we really bicker about, but nothing too big. The only big problem is the area where we're living. So,
Yeah.
and I do feel guilty and selfish sometimes when I do bring it up, because he built this whole house by himself, and now I'm the one complaining that I don't want to be there anymore. So I know that I'm not also being the best person either. But
So what else do you feel guilty and selfish about? Because you are saying you understand him as
Yes.
well.
I do. I just feel like maybe I shouldn't be complaining or being upset because he did do all of this for us. You know, it's probably not easy on him either. But I think some things I should be keeping inside. But I guess this is why I'm here, to talk about it, so I don't have to talk about it with him. But
And that's great that you came here. It takes a strong person
Yeah.
to come to let their feelings out, especially someone they don't know very well, right?
yeah.
So you feel like you should hold things in so that Jake doesn't have to hear them because you feel so guilty.
Yeah,
For him
I feel
having
like
to
he
hear
doesn't have to, deserve to hear that, because I don't want to make him think that I'm ungrateful for not, because the house is gorgeous. I love the house. I love being on my own and paying my own bills and that kind of stuff. But I just think it's probably hard on him to hear that after he's already built that for me. So, well, for us, not just for me. But.
Yes. And prior to that, you two agreed on building the house there. Now that it was so far out.
And that's his argument as well, is that I did choose this. I chose to be there. But the thing is, I didn't think about how far it actually is. But yes, we did choose to do it together. But he found the lot before he even met me. He bought the lot for not very much. It wasn't expensive at all. So he bought it thinking he would sell it and make money. That didn't happen. It's so far out, nobody wanted to buy it, so he thought maybe we would build a house together, live there for a year, and then sell it. So I did know what I was getting into. I just didn't think it would be this far from my family.
So you for sure are going to sell it the next year or two.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you both, like you said, you both agreed on
Yes, yeah.
that. Okay.
Because my point is I want to be closer, but his is we gotta sell it so we can do it again and make money and do it a few more times before we settle. So
Yeah. And what you said, it is right, because you and Jake both rightly agreed that
yes,
the property couldn't sell and that you both agreed on building there.
right.
Okay, so
Yes.
I see where you're coming from,
Yeah.
why you feel guilty but you agreed.
Yeah,
But at the same time, yes, your feelings change, right?
yeah,
And that's okay.
yeah.
That's okay that they change.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sell in the next year or two, have you two agreed on where you would want to move after?
Well, he would like to be somewhere in Hay Bay.
Where
which
you
is-
are now.
Yes, which is still very far. I think even in Napanee would be even better, because we would knock off 15 minutes right there if we went to Napanee. We haven't really decided on where a lot. It's basically where he can build and sell and make money is basically what we're looking for. So closer would be what I want, but what he wants is somewhere he can resell. So in the long run, we have talked about Selby, which is in between two of our families, and that would be the long run, but before that happens, probably just somewhere closer.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And do you guys talk frequently about the move and how you could accommodate each other, or is it
We're working on that. We're trying to come in the middle, but his grandparents live in Napanee, which is it's still up River Road, kind of where we are, but it still knocks down probably about 12 minutes of our drive, and they have a lot there that maybe we could build on that, and I hope I would be happy there. It's closer, and it's on his grandpa's land, so we've talked about that.
So you think after you sell the house, let's say you sell the house in the next year or two,
Mhm.
and you move to the River Road, or Selby, where you were talking about earlier, and you move there, and you're about halfway, like you said. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you say that that would solve a lot of your problems, as a couple together?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do think so. Yeah, I mean, there's still little things that everyone probably fights about, and that will never go away. But the overall big picture, yes, I think that's what the biggest problem is.
Okay. And have you talked to Jake that you think if you guys both sell and move there, he agrees to, that would solve a lot of your problems?
I think so. Yes. Realistically, in the back of his head, I know that he wants to live out there, wants to live in Hay Bay, but I really don't want to. So I don't know if that will ever become a problem. But right now, I think it will be okay just to move a little bit closer.
Yeah.
That's in the middle, right? We're both kind of
So you're still
working a little bit, but
yeah, and so the overall picture as well. You are still worried that in the back of his head that he's
like
could be upset in the future if you do move closer.
Like I don't want him to resent me for making him move closer because I know deep down that's where he wants to live. But if we don't move a little bit, if we don't meet in the middle, it's not going to work. So I'm hoping that he will.
Yeah. So the big picture is you're both trying to meet both ends
Yes.
to make it fair for both of you.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can see that you both came to agreement on paying the bills and everything.
Yes.
Is that even? And that sounds like it's working out great.
Oh yeah, that's fine. There's no. I was worried about that, but we both have great jobs. We don't actually even talk about money. We just split it down the middle, and mortgage we split down the middle. He pays hydro, I pay groceries. We split property tax. We split propane, that kind of stuff. We've never had an issue on that, which is great. So
that is because a lot of couples you see like that's the number one.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Issue.
If you can't do money, then that's a big fight. But for us, so far it's been good. I mean, maybe if we have kids ever, that might change. But for now, it's okay.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
So the overall picture is the place of living.
Yes.
And I see your point of view.
Yeah.
And which is great that you see his point of view as well, because I'm looking at him and thinking the same thing. I feel like it's more of a comfort issue for both of you. Am I thinking that correctly?
Yes. Yeah. I think basically overall I don't think it's going to be that bad. I just for the time being I don't want us to be miserable until we do move. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you and Jake ever, since you've been the last week been having the arguments, are you both what are you doing to solve the argument or to cope with it?
Basically we try to talk it out and see what happens, and then we're both very busy. We go back to our own day-to-day work when we are at work, so I think basically just talking through it helps a lot. Try not to argue or I guess it was Monday night, one night this week I did have to leave because I was going to blow up and I knew that, so I figured I would just leave. I did eventually come back, but I think that we just tried to talk about it without blowing up, so.
And it was another argument about the living?
Nope, this one was, I guess it kind of is about living because we're so far out, but he was working, I think he might have been in Bath that night. He was in Bath, and normally he messaged me when he's on his way home, which is only about 10 minutes, and he never did, and I had dinner ready for probably about 3 hours, and he just didn't show up, so I don't even remember what the comment was that made me leave, but I think it was basically he wasn't going to change, this is who he is, but basically that was just him not being responsible and not coming home and that kind of stuff, so, but that's resolved now, which is kind of good, but that, that added to the week. There's little things that kept adding up, so.
And it was mostly because of the house situation.
Yeah, the
and
distance
location.
and that kind of stuff. I think internally that's what I keep bringing up. That's what keeps bothering me. So, where he probably didn't know that until I said something, right? So, little things kept bugging me, even though the big picture was the house.
And and he's probably built up too
Yeah.
with the arguing you said that was happening, and
Yeah.
you both were getting agitated.
Yeah.
And
And
so-
being sick and tired and all that, I know that adds to people and that kind of
Yes.
stuff. So.
So you said you didn't blow up though.
No, I might have a little bit, but not as much as I would have if I stayed. So I just kind of left, and I called my friend, and I went for a drive, and then I came back after that. So, and once I did come back, it was helpful. I'm glad I did, because if I would have stayed, I think I don't know what would have happened. I don't think it would have been very good. So,
and that's the good side of it. That
Yeah.
you know when your self-regulation level is, and you know when to get out,
Yeah.
and when to come back and cool off.
yeah.
That's a good coping strategy.
Mhm.
So
yeah.
So you said at the beginning of the session
Mhm.
that you came here because you've been holding a lot of stuff in,
Yeah.
and that you need to talk to someone to get it out, and that it's been about the house situation and where you're living, and Jake likes living there because
Yeah.
it's so close to his family and friends, and that your family lives far away,
Yeah.
and that you need to get stuff out and talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came and talked to me today. Would you like to talk about strategies for our next session?
Sure. I guess the only strategies or outcome is just for me to feel better about the time being. The only thing is I'm worried about is being happy now, because I know in the long run I will be happy when we do move again. I think I just needed some help on what to do in the time being for the next year until we do move. So
Okay.
I think that's all I really needed help with.
So your overall goal is to find a happy place until you move, so when you do move, you will be
Right.
everything will
I
be
think it's
smooth.
just that this short period of time is what I needed help with. The bigger picture, I think that we will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever think when you were telling me you hold stuff in,
Mhm.
did you ever think that it could be that you're holding stuff in, or do you feel that's better for yourself to hold something in and to talk to someone else about it?
Yeah, like I think that I don't believe that it's healthy to hold everything in, but I do believe that you have to be careful of who you say it to, because you know if I tell Jake everything and that he doesn't agree with it or it makes us worse, that's why I come to somebody who's been there or who knows what they're doing, kind of thing. It might save the relationship a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think that's why I chose that. But overall, like, we are honest with each other, and I do talk to him about stuff if I need to. But I think the bigger things, if he's not on the same page, it's better to talk to somebody else.
So what are some things I'd like to know? What are some things that make you happy, make your mind kind of trail off of you being sad about being far away all the time? What are some things that get your mind off that?
I think definitely the number one would be just to go visit my family, my mom, dad, and brothers. That's what I did last night. And it made me feel a lot better just to be there with them. I guess with friends, shopping is a big stress reliever for me. Like, I do love that. So, but I guess the big thing is just hanging out with my family, because that's who I miss. So that's what makes me upset.
Exactly.
So.
How often do you see your family now that you're out in Hay Bay?
I try to go twice a week, like normally one night throughout the week, and then I see them every weekend, whether it's helping with the house or just having Sunday night dinners. But I try to do at least twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah. But I talk to them every day, which makes me feel better too. So.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, and you're working full time.
Yeah.
You told me, and so is he. And you do see them twice a week.
Yes.
Which is great. Does Jake go with you?
Sometimes. Not all the weekends, yes, like dinners and stuff. Last night he didn't, but and that's the other point from his view. He doesn't need to see his parents every week. He doesn't need to see them every month even. Where to me, I think maybe that's a male and female thing as well, but I need to see them more than he does. So that's why he doesn't always come. But yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you've told me everything in great detail, and
Yeah.
what makes you happy in the whole situation. To find a way to meet this goal, would you like to meet up again for another session?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay, I think that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. How did you feel getting all that information out to me?
I think I feel a lot better. I think that it's maybe I just needed somebody to listen. I don't know if I really needed anything to take from it, but maybe I just needed to let it out. So yeah.
Well, like you said, you hold it in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better that you hold it out.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe for the next session before that, for some things maybe we could try to help you with is maybe you and Jake once a week, like you said, keep going for your dinners and stuff to your families and go see them. And I don't know how about you see how much often you see your friends. Maybe plan one night a week if you have time to go see them as well. And would you feel comfortable in trying maybe whatever you feel like holding in sometimes, maybe trying to let out one thing at a time with Jake?
Yeah, I think so. Like I think that would be fine rather than blowing it all up, because sometimes that's what happens. People like myself, you hold things in for so long and then you just blow up at the end. So that's not healthy either. So I can try to work on that, to do baby steps. Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable even trying that?
I can try. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When would you like to see me next?
Anytime, whenever you're free. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can book with your secretary or whatever you want.
Yes, absolutely. You
Okay.
just call and we'll go around your schedule.
Okay.
And next session we could talk about how you've adapted into integrating little things and keep telling me about whatever you need to get out.
Okay.
Sound good?
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so glad we met.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.